Now we're on something here.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? All right, we're gonna get this out of the way at the start. First off, you can see the mic in the shot. It's preseason for us too.
Bring this over here.
Is what we're getting at. All right. We should have previewed the stage a bit more before we started, but we're here. We're live from Rocket Arena, as you can see. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Chat, Dan, I see you in the chat. Let me know. Can you hear me at all? Is this working? Can anybody hear me?
It's always a good.
Dan says yes. Brilliant damage. What's up? Listen, guys, like I said, it's preseason. We're figuring out the best way to record live from the arena after the games. But we're here. The Cavs just played their first preseason game. Season has unofficially started, right? Like, we're pretty much back. The games don't matter much. We saw Thomas Bryant get blocked at the rim for a potential game winner, but it is what it is.
Twice.
We're here. Yeah, twice. Well, I don't know if he got blocked on the second one, but it was basically got blocked.
Okay.
Regardless, we are here. We are credentialed media members. It's my first game, unofficial game covering the Cavs, this season. So we're ready to rock and roll. We're excited. We got some takeaways. We're going to get through it. Jackson, first preseason game. Overall thoughts. How did the Cavs look tonight? They lost by 1, but they went 0-4 in last year's preseason too. It doesn't matter much.
Who cares? Honestly. I think what you look for in these games is sort of like micro takeaways, like little small things that you can pick out and say, hey, maybe this is interesting, something to keep an eye on as the season progresses. I think, for example, one of those things, Evan Mobley led the starters with 10 shots. I think that's pretty cool. I think it'd be cool if Evan Mobley led starters in shots more often. I don't know if he did that very often last year, but that was very cool. He was very assertive. I don't think we saw anything that would make you think, man, this is like he's ready to take the MVP leap or something like that. But it was a good start, and we saw a lot of things that we wanted to see. And then my other takeaway, really only like 2 takeaways, is actually I have 3.
I have a bunch. Don't worry, Chad. I have a bunch. We're going to force Jackson to go through it.
DeAndre Hunter, I think this was very interesting, how they were trying to get him the ball. Kenny talked about how they wanted to get him the ball in isolation more. Larry Nance Jr. kind of explained after the game why DeAndre Hunter is so good in isolation, his size, especially if you have a small forward like Kevin Herter, which is
no disrespect to Kevin Herter.
He's 6'7", he's a big guy.
Not the greatest defender, not the biggest guy compared to Hunter.
But you have to really, you can't really leave your guy if you are, you're out there on the floor with Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, soon to be Sam Merrill, Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen. Like, you kind of have to pick your poison. So DeAndre Hunter's role, it seems like, will be simplified with the starters in a way where, like, he's going to get the ball in places where he's comfortable. He's going to be asked to do pretty simple things, but he's very good at the things that he's going to be asked to do. He's a very good isolation scorer. He's a very good shooter. He's a very good three-point shooter, especially if it's a one-on-one situation. And he's not going to be asked to do things that he's not good at, which we saw a lot of last year when he's had to play the 4, had to really have a lot more defensive responsibilities as the 4, had to have a lot of rebounding responsibilities. And he's not really going to have that this year because we have Larry Nance Jr. and Dean Wade. And do you have anything you want to say about DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah, I think you said it really well when you said that he was asked to do the things that he's good at. He wasn't being asked to do the things that he's not good at. And that's really been the problem with DeAndre Hunter throughout his career, is that, like, we were talking about this during the game, but it's like when the Hawks drafted DeAndre Hunter, they were kind of hoping this was going to be like the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler developmental path. We kind of found out that, this is no disrespect, it's actually a compliment, he's a little bit more of a simple player than that. He can give you a bucket in isolation, but he's not someone you run the entire offense through. He can play good defense, but he's not someone who's going to anchor a defense in the way that the Hawks hoped. And so the Cavs, having a full offseason with DeAndre Hunter, we heard it all, right? Like, they've been hyping him up all summer. He's been the MVP of September, they were saying. And we saw that right away here because, he came out, he started 7 of 8 from the floor, I believe. He was just an automatic bucket, right? And the Cavs, they didn't run everything through him, but every once in a while, it was clear the floor. DeAndre Hunter has a mismatch. Let him go one-on-one. One dribble pull up, it's a bucket. Let him run a pick and roll. The defense is in drop. He hits a three-pointer, right? It's very simple stuff, simple reads for DeAndre Hunter. And he made him pay. Also, Jackson, when you were talking, you said 6'7", and no one in the chat laughed. So that's how I know that we're all very old in this chat. We're all chopped. We're all I had to mention it.
I don't even know.
Didn't even register it. No one knows what it means. But bringing this back, that is one of the biggest takeaways. We did bury the lead. Craig Porter went off tonight, but Jackson clearly didn't have that written down in his takeaways.
Didn't see it.
But
don't see it on here.
To wrap up the DeAndre Hunter stuff, he was great. He looks very comfortable scoring from all three levels. On the fact that the Cavs have someone in their starting lineup. I know it was a little weird tonight because Jalen Tyson was there instead of Sam Merrill, who's there instead of Darius Garland. But the point is, and I don't remember if you mentioned this or not, but we talked about it during the game. When you have DeAndre Hunter and the usual Cavs four around him, Mobley, Allen, Mitchell, Garland, it's really hard to help off in that situation. And so Hunter's going to get a lot of opportunities to kind of go one-on-one ISO ball. And Kenny Atkinson mentioned this before the game and after the game to us, that we're not trying to lose this offensive identity of move the ball around, Warriors-esque basketball. But at the same time, if DeAndre Hunter can go one-on-one with an advantage, give you an automatic bucket, they're going to take that throughout the course of a long game. And so, Jackson,
I do want to say kind of going
I'm going to force him to talk about Craig Porter soon. Trust me, guys.
We have a lot of things we have to get to before that. And we have limited time. So really, we have to, I don't know if we're going to have time for Craig.
He's trying to censor
the next episode.
We're in mid-season form.
I think that one of the things that was interesting is that you saw Kenny use DeAndre Hunter in a lot of ways that a Kenny Atkinson offense, quote unquote, wouldn't use a player typically. And I think Kenny was asked about it afterwards, like, hey, how do you blend kind of this isolation with DeAndre Hunter with like the Warriors brand of basketball where everybody touches the ball? And he talked about how you have to play to your team's strengths. And I think that's something that's kind of interesting. And I felt like at times, especially with DeAndre Hunter, they weren't playing to his strengths last year. And we kept talking about it. Like, he just wasn't able to do the things that he was really good at. I mean, like, he still was really good because he's a very skilled player. But I think if you put DeAndre Hunter in a position to be the best version of himself, I think that just makes life easier for Darius Garland, for Donovan Mitchell. Kobe Altman has talked a ton about how he wants, Donovan to not have to have this heavy burden on in the regular season, so he's ready for the postseason. Getting somebody like DeAndre Hunter, who is, at his size, a very skilled scorer. There aren't that many scorers who are 6'7" and above and can really, shoot
score
the ball
from all
like
three
that.
levels,
yeah,
right?
Score from all three.
Legitimately great three-point shooter. We saw it today. Just it gets hot in a hurry.
1 for 2 from 3, 2 for 3 from the mid-range, and 3 for 3 in the paint or something like that.
Scored from every zone. And it looked easy.
Yeah, the Cavs don't have a lot of – Cavs do have some guys who can do that. But, there just aren't guys
– They didn't
with
have
that
this
skill
before,
set.
right? I tweeted, and I kind of was trying to set it up as the Jetty Osman joke, but I forgot that Larry Markkinen was on this team as well. But I said the Cavs haven't had a starting small forward who could go out and get a bucket whenever you wanted in a long time. And, most people would think back to LeBron. I was trying to set up a Jetty joke. Lowry was there too. The point is, they really haven't had this iteration of the Cavs has not had a starting small forward, because if you think about Max Strus, you could run a play for Max Strus, come off the ball, hit a three, but you're not really giving him the ball one-on-one, go get a bucket. Same thing with, our beloved Isaac Okoro, who did have 11 points, hit 2 threes today in his return to Cleveland. Didn't really get much on that.
Looked very similar to how he played every game in Cleveland, so it wasn't
looked
really
pretty much the same.
About.
I did want to mention real quick, I think you hit on Evan Mobley a little bit, but I did want to mention him because, he came out the gates just firing away. Pulled up 3 off the dribble. Jarrett Allen set him a screen. The inverted pick and roll.
Well, it's not really inverted if it's a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That's
the big pick and roll, not inverted. Just the big pick and roll, which was nice to see. Mobley also, I think the most important thing is, just looked very comfortable probing and waiting to find his shot. In years past, not as much last year, but mainly, his first few years, if Mobley took 2 dribbles, he's looking to pass the ball. Even at times last year, if he took a couple dribbles, he's going to pick it up and look to pass the ball. Tonight, and it's just preseason, but he was dribbling, finding his shot, getting to that mid-range. If he couldn't get to the rim, he's taking the fall-away, fade-away jumper, and it looked really good. Thought he looked very confident with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good things there. Early, he got Buzelis on him, and he said, Buzelis, you cannot take me in the post. And Buzelis
barbecue chicken.
Didn't. So I just really like that stuff. My next takeaway before we will get to Craig.
Yeah, we'll get to Craig. Porter fans, if you were in line, stay in line. We are going to say good things about CPJ.
I did want to say that Larry Nance Jr., it's cool to have Larry Nance Jr. back. And I think that one of the things that was sort of frustrating about his last tenure is that he can do, he's a jack of all trades, but great at none, which is a compliment. But when you were the 19-20 Cavs, you don't need people like that. You need people who can actually do everything and they're good at it. And you could see him in that second unit, just like doing a lot of stuff, like getting deflections. How many assists did he have? 3 assists.
3 assists, but it
Four
felt
assists,
4 assists, but it
so,
felt
like,
better than that because it was like he's not Jokic, but they were running a lot of stuff
Right.
through him off the bench, and just the fact that you can have a guy come off your bench at his height and run these dribble handoffs, kind of Isaiah Hartenstein light. You know, I'm not trying to get carried
I think
away.
he's a little better.
But just the
he's a
point
better
is
ball
you can
handler, yeah.
you can give him the ball, he can handle it, he can run dribble handoffs. He's a good enough basketball player with a high enough IQ to say, all right, first option isn't there, I'm going to keep my dribble alive, play through. You can run multiple things through him, and that was really awesome to see.
It's a crime that they got him on a minimum contract. I think that if I was another GM in the league, I'd be looking at cap circumvention for the Cavs because I think that's a crime. But it's just like last year in that series against Indiana, you were just like everybody on the court for the Pacers can just do so many basketball things, and it was like the Cavs had great depth, but a lot of specialty players. And you see this with Lonzo Ball; he's great at a lot of things. Larry, great at a lot of things. And it's like you add 2 of those guys, and it just changes the whole dynamic of everything. Now you're not relying on – now Dean Wade can be more of a specialist. Now Sam Merrill can be more of a specialist because you have guys who can fill in those cracks. So I really like what I've seen from Larry Nance Jr., and I'm kind of excited. I'm more excited about it than I thought I would be because I think it just looks really good.
I feel the same exact way. I think we kind of just took for granted, like, oh, yeah, Larry's back. We've seen him here before. But as you mentioned, we haven't seen Larry Nance Jr. in this context. And he said something interesting during training camp that I did a story for on Fear of the Sword, where he said this might be one of, if not the best team that he's ever been on. And something that I wrote in that story is that Larry, yeah, okay, you could say he's just joining a 64-win team that's already really great, but in many ways, he's actually reinforcing, his arrival is reinforcing the fact that this might actually be the best team he's on, because he does, I'm not saying he's the missing piece, but he does provide something that they didn't have before, and we saw even in just this first preseason game how different it is with having him out there. And no, that was not Dean Wade howling. I don't think so,
That was
Demo.
me howling.
Someone, I can confirm Jackson was howling during the game, but I don't know where that howl came from, but do you have a couple more quick takeaways?
One thing I did want to say about Larry as well is that like that DeAndre Hunter conversation doesn't happen if Larry Nance Jr. isn't on this team, because maybe you start DeAndre Hunter, but how you use him is some hybrid between what we saw and how they used him last year, because you'd still have to use him as the second unit 4. And because you need
he's splitting his time between being a 3 and a backup 4. And now he's just full time. He's a 3. When we're healthy, he's a 3.
And even like in the playoffs, it could change, but you have so much depth up front now. You have Dean Wade, you have Larry Nance Jr., which we know are both injury casualties, but you also have Thomas Bryant. And Thomas Bryant good? Maybe.
Not good
Probably
for
not.
end of game alley-oops to win or going coast to coast, but I actually really do think he's a very good veteran presence.
But like, you're playing a game in, Orlando, second out of a back-to-back in January. Thomas Bryant, give him minutes. You know what I mean? Like, he's somebody who
he's a legit guy.
Like,
he's an NBA player.
It's not like Robin Lopez, where you were like, cannot give Robin Lopez minutes.
Thomas Bryant is a real legit NBA player who I'm looking forward to seeing this year. Again, don't need to go coast to coast in the end of games, but it's preseason. All right, so we hit on most of my takeaways already. Mobley looked great grading for himself, just preseason, but he looked good. Hunter, same thing. Nance, running dribble handoffs, one of my biggest takeaways. I really loved watching that. Jalen Tyson, don't have much to say about him offensively because he did not score tonight. I think he went 0 of 5, but I thought he looked very good defensively. I thought he had a lot of energy. The 2 blocks right away also just felt like he was picking up full court, or at least 3/4 court. Kenny Atkinson has talked about challenging these guys to do that. I definitely thought that he was trying to be a defensive hound. That's something that I'm going to keep an eye on because, listen, if he can bring anything offensively, that's going to help a lot. But if he can do all those intangible things, then that's really going to be his way to get into this rotation consistently.
I do want to pump the brakes on this a little bit because Jalen Tyson is not a defensive first player. And I think he's not like a great defender. And I think that energy can be confused for defense. And it is great that he has good energy. And he did have a couple blocks or something like that.
Yeah, 2 blocks to start off. And I thought he just did good fighting over screens.
He did do good stuff, but like he's not Andre Robertson. He needs to actually hit shots and needs to provide something on the offensive end. So I don't want it to be like, anything that Jalen Tyson does, offense is just a bonus. It's like, no, he's really not like a. Well, he should be a good.
He should be a good offensive player already.
Right. He should be a good offensive player. Yeah. But I just want to kind of pump the brakes a little bit on that because I've seen some people kind of go that direction. It's really easy to go that direction because it's like defense, especially on the wing, is a little like more like harder to spot. So I do want to say like he's a good defender, not a great defender. The offense needs to be a lot better. But like again, we liked what we saw today. Just wanted to make that disclaimer.
I think it's fair, and to kind of take what you said and bring it all together with what I was trying to say is that we kind of already assumed that the offense was going to be what he gave us. And I do think that he's a better offensive player than what he showed tonight. A 5 is what it is. I think the fact that we're seeing that, maybe this guy has some defensive, some tenacity, some ferociousness, it seemed. Not maybe ferociousness is too heavy of a word, but it seemed like there's more to him defensively than we originally thought. And again, it's just his second year, so I'm excited. I'll keep an eye on that.
And it is a tough spot to try to fit in offensively when you have such high usage guys around you. And you are not, I don't think, Jalen Tyson's still perfecting his off-ball game. I think that's something where if you look at him in college, always on ball, his best moments in the G League has always come on ball.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a role he's going to have to continue to learn how to play. And unfortunately, there's no real way to learn how to do that until you're in situations like this.
Yeah. All right. Final takeaways. I have 2 players that we have to mention really quick. Probably wondering why it's taking us so long to talk about
Luke
them.
Travers and Naquan Tomlin.
No. Although Tomlin, very quickly, very energetic, all over the place.
He did call DeAndre Hunter Kawhi Leonard in the locker room multiple times. So
maybe he's onto something. I don't know. Maybe he's Atlanta Hawks scout or something. Because that seems.
Who can say? Maybe
he hasn't gotten the updated scouting
Maybe
report.
he's what is that? Aspiration. Maybe he's an aspiration scout. Maybe DeAndre Hunter likes trees.
Tomlin was very frenetic. He was all over the place. He's cutting. He's grabbing rebounds. He was exciting. There's still some polishing that we need to see.
No polishing. He's great.
He's perfect in every way.
Perfect.
Speaking of perfect, Craig Porter, 5 of 5. He went perfect from the field. That's all I'm saying. He went. Thank you for giving me that. He went 5 of 5 from 3. Now, I'll be honest, at the start of the game, it kind of felt like a mixed bag. He's getting beat back door. He's not staying in front of people defensively. Again, Kenny challenged them to pick up full court. There were some turnovers early. He wasn't really getting to the rim all that well. But then all of a sudden, you look up and he's hit 5 3-pointers. And when he is getting downhill, he's either finishing at the rim or he's dumping it off to Larry Nance Jr. He had a bunch of opportunities to get out and transition. And what we've talked about a lot on this podcast is that Craig Porter, when he has an advantage, he's actually a pretty solid NBA player. It's just he struggles to create those opportunities for himself. I'm not going to get carried away from one preseason game, but if he does become someone who can shoot threes off the dribble and actually knock them down, that's one way you space the floor and you're able to actually create opportunities for yourself. And as Demo mentioned, again, I don't know how many minutes Craig's going to play in the regular season anyways, but now that he does have someone like Larry Nance Jr. to play off with, coming off for those dribble handoffs, that does give you an advantage. So Craig Porter Jr. Or Craig Porter Island, if you're on that island, it could be a little brighter this year. It could be a little brighter this year than last year, especially if that 3-point shooting translates. I was really impressed with the shot making tonight. And I thought he just fought hard, right? Like somewhat of a slow start, really fought through it and ended up nailing a bunch of shots near the end. So that was great to see.
I think that you want to see Craig Porter Jr. be a good 3-point shooter. So it's encouraging that you saw that. I mean, it's a bit mostly me and Tony, but it is good to see him hit some shots, and that is encouraging. What I will say though is that I think that Craig's usefulness will come down not to his 3-point shooting, but more come down to whether or not he can make those high energy plays, whether or not he can provide a little bit something on defense. He has great hands, but that doesn't always translate to can you stay in front of your man. I think we try to see him pick up full court sometimes today with some kind of mixed results while doing that. And I think that you need to see more positive results. And I think that sometimes offensively, he has a lot of, I don't know how to say this properly, there's a lot of main character energy on offense where he's most comfortable when he has the ball in his hand and he's trying to score. And I don't know if there's a way to shift his game a little bit so that he's more of a facilitator and a backup point guard, honestly. I know that backup point guard is can be sometimes a demeaning way, but there's a reason why backup point guards get paid a decent amount. So it's
an important role.
I still want to see him do a better job of controlling the ball, do a better job of setting up the offense, because sometimes it's he just kind of passes it and just kind of coasts away. Yeah. And it's can you run a pick and roll, get things going, get downhill? So I know that it needs to be more TJ McConnell, but you have to have the drive to be TJ McConnell, and it's like you can't rewire somebody and say, "Hey, be TJ McConnell." Why don't you just go be Matthew Dellavedova? Like, why don't just go do that? Like, it's not. People are wired differently, so it's like
I think that's what excited me about Tyson too. To tie that into
Right,
is that like
yes.
you saw some of that tenacity to him that you either have it or you don't. To be honest with you,
so like that's where it's like I'm still not sure what Craig's path is to being a viable backup point guard with his skill set and with kind of how he likes to play, but I'm open to being surprised. And I think that Kenny Atkinson, if you hear him talk about Craig, he's talking about the right things. He's talking about like we need him to pick up full court, need him to be that defensive pass, need him to get a bunch of turnovers, steals, and he does have really good hands for the ball, but it's like just be a tiny bit better in front of your guy, protect the ball better, just these little things. And like I think that's way more important. Like I'd rather see like a no turnover game than a 5 for 5 from 3 game. Like 1 for 4 from 3 and you have no turnovers. I feel like I would like that more. But like I do like that
if he wants to hit 5 threes every game, I'll take that though. I'll just say that for the record.
But like
I get what you're saying. The style
from the process.
You're not going to see. Let me not say never, but you're probably not going to see Craig Porter average 3 to 5 threes a game with this Cavs team. That's not going to be the role that he's expected to play, is what Jackson's getting at here. And so I understand that. I think if you're looking for a little bit of optimism, this was some much needed optimism because Craig didn't play that great in summer league, barely played, and then left afterwards. It had been a rough time for Craig Porter fans, and I feel like this was the first dose of serotonin we've gotten in a while. So live it up. We're living great, but
and then you contrast that with Tyrese Proctor, and you feel like Tyrese Proctor, you're like, oh, his game kind of just fits seamlessly with what.
Yeah, it kind of like it just clicked right away,
which just clicks a lot easier. And it's like, just a good game.
When you have, the thing is, like, to me, and again, I want to get carried away, but even in the summer league, and especially today in this first preseason game, I feel comfortable saying that Tyrese Proctor is an NBA level shot maker. I think he just has 3-point shooting talent. I think it's just a legit thing that he has. I thought the ball handling looked a little bit better than it did in the summer league. I thought he just looked confident, comfortable. One thing that benefited him right away, in my opinion, was probably he gets on the court and within like 20 seconds, he gets a fast break layup. And so if you're a rookie first preseason game, getting that bucket right away, it just helps take some off your mind. And so he came down the next possession. He's working one-on-one, hit a fall-away jumper, and then all of a sudden he's hitting threes. I think he had 4 3-pointers as well. And so that's something that, again, it's just really easy to have that translate to any team. If you're, how tall is he, like 6'4"? How tall is Proctor? He's about 6'4". He's a little bit of a bigger guard. He's not undersized.
Not 6'7".
6'6". All right, he's somewhere in this range. The point is he's not an undersized guard. If you're a guard with a little bit of size, play a little bit of defense, and you can hit 3-pointers, there's a role for you in the NBA, which with Craig, it's a little bit more difficult with his skill set. But Proctor really impressed me tonight. Do you have any other thoughts on Proctor?
No. Because I don't want to because I think it's easy to get carried away with like a first impression because we don't have the same baseline.
It was good stuff. It was good stuff. That's basically
I want to acknowledge that, but I don't want to get too grand.
He's not the Ty Jerome replacement. He's not coming in. He's not going to do that. Don't expect that this year.
Speaking of the Ty Jerome replacement,
6'6"
Lonzo Ball. What are we doing here?
I was going to mention Lonzo Ball. Now,
no,
he
looked fine.
It's first preseason game. He's injured. He's a player's coming off of a season-ending injury last year. He's ramping up.
I thought he paired well with Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah,
I think the minutes were good.
He didn't score, but like he played good defense.
He
you could see right away him and Larry Nance Jr. are gonna have so much chemistry. Lonzo, there's a couple of times where like and like Kenny's mentioned this, everyone's mentioned this through media day and working up through training camp. It's like Lonzo Ball just finds guys who don't even realize they're open. It's like the ball just hits you and you didn't even like. I think he threw one to Tomlin.
That's his last name.
He threw a pass to Tomlin where Tomlin was like surprised. He's like, "Oh, I am open under the basket." I don't even think he got an assist for it. That's the tragic thing is he threw like 6 straight passes that didn't lead to assists tonight. But overall, Lonzo Ball, you know what to expect from him. He's not always going to fill the stat sheet. He's not always going to be on the floor. But when he is on the floor, he's going to find a way to help. Even if he's not scoring, he's going to find a way to help. And I thought that to me it was shown in this first preseason game.
Last thing I want to get out of here on this, Tony, impressions of covering a game live.
What can I say, man? I feel very lucky to have this opportunity. I want to thank everyone, YouTube, Playback, everyone who's read my stuff on Fear the Sword back when I was at Fansided, followed me on Twitter, whatever it may be.
When he was a Warriors fan.
When I wasn't a Warriors fan. I had a brief
For
stint
Warriors,
where I covered
Warriors
them because
fan
listen,
site.
you got to
Warriors
do
fan
what you
site.
got to do when you're in the
It's called
vlog
fan
business.
sided.
All right. So point is, thank you guys for supporting me all the way here. It's a great opportunity. I'm excited to go to these games, and I promise we will. We're being invaded. It's War of the Worlds.
Oh, it's the Jumbotron.
The Jumbotron is closing up.
Jumbotron.
Okay, well, here's the thing. We are going to wrap up this episode. I was just saying thank you to everybody. And
His
I
Oscar
promise,
speech.
they're trying to play me
They're
off the
taking
stage.
money away from the.
I promise
Boys and
we
Girls
will
Club.
have a better setup, and we'll figure out better lighting. We'll put the MacBook somewhere else because this was a little rough. But point is, thank you guys for supporting us throughout the years. We're gonna get out of here now because this alarm is probably very annoying to hear. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, check out Fear the Sword, and as always,